What's up, guys? This is Pastor John, and this is 5-Minute Fridays. On 5-Minute Fridays, I take a question from my Wednesday Facebook and Instagram question and answer session, and I try to respond it in a 5-minute YouTube video. To be sincere, it's very hard to do. 5 minutes on YouTube, it's just kind of hard. So some of these videos require alternate videos. It's okay. We will work on that. You will bear with me as long as I have to talk. Today's question is very appropriate for this time. The question is, how do you make decisions as a pastor in the midst of crisis like the one we're living? Okay, so this topic is very appropriate right now. Obviously, we all know what's going on with the coronavirus, COVID-19, as scientists know it. This virus and the pandemic that has ensued has been nothing short of catastrophic. In Miami-Dade, the county where I live in, just 3 days ago, I'm shooting this early, so 3 days ago there was 3 cases that were registered with the state of Florida. As of this moment, there are nearly 40. It is impressive the way this thing continues to develop and multiply and multiply and multiply. At this present moment, there are almost 150 cases in South Florida, and the majority of them are in the 2 counties that are closest to me. Because of this, our district, I'm part of a council, and the council that I'm a part of, our maximum leader, the bishop, and our district leader, the supervisor, both of them in conjunction with the pastors have decided that it is in the best interest of our district to have our churches shut down for the next 2 weeks, starting as of a couple days ago. We are in the midst of those 2 weeks. That obviously made my decision easier because I didn't have to decide whether I was going to close down my church or not. However, to be honest, that conversation had already been had from my church. As a pastor, I take very seriously threats that come against our church, threats that come against any church, threats that come against human life in general. I am not shy about closing our doors or suspending a service when I feel that people's lives are in jeopardy. I will do it readily. I am a firm believer that I am not only the guardian of my sheep's souls, but I am also the guardian of their bodies. And it means nothing to me if I prosper their spiritual lives, but I am uncareful with their physical lives. So as a pastor, I take very seriously protecting my sheep's lives. I'll give you an example of something that happened not too long ago that changed the course of our church forever. A couple years ago, there was a massacre in a church in Texas. This massacre in the church in Texas happened in a night service. It was kind of a small church. No one expected that it was going to happen, and it was really serious how these people got slaughtered. We were getting close to New Year's Eve, and due to this and ideas that I had already had and conversations that I had with leaders of the church, we decided that we were no longer going to keep the tradition that has been long-standing in the Pentecostal church to close out the year at church, in our home church. We now celebrate our New Year's Eve service during the day on the Sunday right before New Year's, and we do a countdown and we drop balloons. And if you've watched us on the live feed, it is every bit the New Year's Eve celebration that any other church has. We simply decide that we don't want to put our people at risk driving in the night with the people who drive chaotically after New Year's parties, and the gun shooting and the violence and all the stuff that could happen on New Year's Eve. So I readily make these decisions thinking about the well-being of my church. It is difficult to be in this kind of situation and have to make these decisions. I do not question any pastor that has decided to keep their building open in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic. I don't condemn them. This is It's your decision, and only you know your church and your congregation as well as you do. My church is a small church. We're very loving. We hug. We shake each other's hands. We constantly talk to each other, and we're a very tight-knit, close group, and therefore we're always in close proximity one to the other. Not just that, but the large majority of my church are elderly people who are most at risk if this virus were to be contacting them. So as a pastor, I can't very well put these people in danger knowing what could happen. That might not be true for every church. You know, some churches might be able to stay open and not have that kind of danger. However, there are two things that I will say, and I know that I've already gone past 5 minutes. You're going to bear with me if you can. The first thing I'll say is, this is not a question of faith or not faith. This is a question of you knowing your church and the needs of your church. That's the first thing. The second thing is what does the law say? Because the Bible asks us to be law-abiding citizens and to follow the government of law. And if we decide that we're going to go against government because our faith requires that we do so, then we are not being good stewards of the Bible. So I think that we need to be cognizant of all these things as best we can. I will end this video by quoting something that someone said on my Facebook feed. I don't know if she was the first person who said it. I know that she was the first one I read it from. Her name was Cassandra from Chicago. Cassandra, if you're watching, you don't know how much what you said or what you posted blessed my life. I read this and it made the decision so much easier for me. She posted, none of our pastors have ever pastored in a pandemic before. We're going to be making decisions. They're going to be making decisions every day that are going to be second guessed no matter what they do. If they choose to open their church, then they're foolish. If they choose to close their church, then they have a lack of faith. Those words literally reminded me that I don't do my job based on how people are going to judge me. I do my job solely based on what God puts in my heart to do for my church and what I think is in the well-being of my own church. So for me, this is of the utmost importance to remember as pastor, leader, when you make decisions, be led by God and do what you feel in your heart. In the end, you're responsible. You're the one who's going to go before God and answer questions about your decisions. So make sure that the decisions that you make are the ones that you feel in your heart. If you can do that, then you'll sleep in peace, knowing that you did what you thought was right. Remember, it only takes one tragedy. It doesn't take 10, it takes one. One tragedy for your whole life to change and everything to go downhill. So with this in mind, I bless all you leaders in the midst of this crisis. I pray for you. I ask the Lord for strength and guidance for you and wisdom, and that the Lord may lead you in these moments of difficulty. Whatever choices you make, live up to them, own them. Don't be afraid to say I made a mistake if you were wrong. Don't be afraid to change your plans if you feel differently. Do what you feel led by God, because none of us have ever lived this before, and we're all in unprecedented times. So this has been all for my 5-Minute Fridays, which is now almost 2 5-Minute Fridays. If you like this video, if this video bless your life, please comment, subscribe, share. We are a few subscribers away from 100. Hopefully by the time this video goes up, we have gotten them already. But if we haven't, please help us get to 100 subscribers. If we get to 100 subscribers, it unlocks some things in our account that will allow us to serve you guys better and bless your lives more. So please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get all of our videos. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time on 5-Minute Fridays.